A location lies beyond the reach of light, beyond the solar system's planets, moons, and winds, a quiet spot that buzzes with ancient power. It is here, approximately 24 billion kilometers away from Earth, where Voyager 1 floats in the dark. The darkness is so complete, feels like the very edge of time. This spacecraft was launched in 1977, designed to outlast our previous knowledge of engineering. But nobody ever thought it would last this long and still be communicating. However, in a twist no one anticipated, Voyager 1 is not only sending out data, it's revealing secrets. There has been a change. The probe's output of signals has shifted in a way that defies. Decades of scientific expectations, encoded pulses, impossible variations in temperature, and bizarre behavior all converging to form a single, terrifying conclusion. Voyager 1 may have found something or been found. What exactly is lurking in the deep void between stars? What has suddenly changed about Voyager 1? Its course has deviated. It has begun transmitting new information that has stunned NASA's best scientists. What you are about to witness and hear may redefine our perceptions of deep space, possibly our place within it. At first, Voyager 1 was an ambitious mission, a journey to photograph the gas giants, expected to last no more than a decade. Jupiter was not even a stop on its initial route, yet it explored Jupiter and Saturn, capturing previously unknown information about their storms, moons, and magnetic fields. However, once the mission concluded its primary objectives, NASA realized something remarkable. Voyager was still healthy, still capable, and still moving. So they allowed it to go on, setting its course into the unknown. For many years, spacecraft continued transmitting data across the immense void. Scientists received updates on interstellar particles, the solar background, and medium radiation. But there's more. The fact that all this was done is by a probe made in the 1970s with less memory than a modern digital wristwatch, purely dependent on radio waves and plutonium decays, nothing short of amazing. Voyager wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. But over time, subtle changes began to appear. Its instruments flickered to life. Software that hadn't been updated in 40 years began acting unpredictably. NASA initially dismissed this as cosmic radiation interference or hardware deterioration. After all, this aging probe had every reason to malfunction, but the pattern and frequency of these anomalies were too precise, too synchronized to be accidents. In 2023, the Deep Space Network picked up an entirely new transmission from Voyager 1. Instead of the usual sluggish droning of scientific readings, engineers were met with short bursts of synchronized pulses. Each burst contained layers of data harmonics that, when decoded, revealed resonance-inducing frequencies. Some researchers compared it to a form of language, not one spoken by humans, but one that could only exist in the vacuum of space. Then came the most confusing part, one of the heat source. Sensors, thought to be long dead, began displaying temperature data-emitting patterns of cyclical heating and cooling. These were measurable changes, yet they had no plausible source. Voyager, swaying in the coldest part of known space, was warming up deliberately. The rotations were regular and rhythmic every 4.8 to 8 seconds. Intentional, even more troubling. NASA's pings began receiving responses from Voyager before they were fully dispatched. The probe was transferring information in packets as if it anticipated the requests. This behavior frightened the engineering teams. How could an instrument with no onboard AI, no advanced prediction algorithm, seemingly know what Earth was about? To ask worse yet, why did it do so now, after more than 4 decades of silence? As ground teams scrambled for answers, Voyager performed its most bizarre action yet. It began changing its own trajectory, with no instructions. The probe used its remaining fuel to make minute adjustments, shifting its direction by a few degrees. NASA's commands were overruled. Despite receiving instructions, they were ignored. It was as if Voyager had stopped listening, or was listening to something else. The new trajectory didn't point toward a known nebula, star, or gravitational anomaly. It pointed toward an otherwise unoccupied region of space, to the naked eye, nothing. under infrared, gamma-ray scans even less. But according to Voyager's data, something is present. Something emitting a very faint pulsed frequency matching. The strange signals Voyager began transmitting months ago. Worse still, its cameras believed to be long shut down restored power. Yet instead of capturing star fields or galaxies, they recorded a spiral-shaped distortion pattern resembling a magnetic field map. The pattern was pulsing, moving, embedded with numerical ratios tied to hydrogen spectra. Voyager wasn't capturing light, it was recording information. Within weeks, and NASA researchers were overwhelmed by the spiral data. The pattern wasn't just visual, it had structure, intention. Layers of information were embedded in directional, electromagnetic waveforms, suggesting something beyond natural phenomena. It was a warning, not just any signal either. It contained prime numbers, vector maps, frequency intervals. Then came the final confirmation. The Voyager spacecraft sent one coordinate a fixed point in the plane of the galaxy at a specific distance. When plotted, it formed a triangulation point involving a void, 3 known pulsars, and a zone between them. It was, in essence, a location, a destination. Experts began to discuss. Was Voyager being summoned? Was it merely relaying what it found? Or did it occur while under the influence of a presence outside? The empirical community was divided. However, one thing was clear. This wasn't a malfunction. This was an alert one. Built using Voyager's own systems, its own language, and its own data history. And now, it's headed directly there. Voyager 1 continued into silence as it entered the region it had been redirected toward. Its instruments began to pick up something that went against the normal models. The data did not indicate a black hole or a dying star. It wasn't even a cloud of dark energy. What it found was a total absence. So complete that not even the background microwave radiation from the cosmos appeared to bend out of proportion. Around it, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory compared the data with archived sky maps from earlier missions and came across something terrifying. A star that ought to be there, documented in optical surveys from 1997, was no longer there. Not dimmed, not collapsed, erased. No infrared heat, no gravitational influence, no lingering radiation. It appeared as though the star had been plucked from the fabric of space, leaving behind nothing but perfection. Some scientists whispered about a localized failure in the real world, a slit in the cosmic coding. Following that, Voyager 1 sent a string of anomalous signals that, when converted through spectrogram analysis, revealed a surprise for everyone. Sound, not the usual background hiss of deep space, but a unified pulse it repeated at precise intervals like reflected sonar from an invisible surface. What truly disturbed the researchers was the gap between the two pulses. It suggested, when calculated, that the signal had come from over 13,000 years ago, from a faraway galaxy, and had only recently reached the probe, a message predating all of recorded human history. But who sent it? Why was it encoded in such a way that only a spacecraft traveling at Voyager's velocity and trajectory would arrive? At its end, theories ranged from ancient alien beacons to organic time loops, caused by gravitational distortions. Only one possibility stood out from the rest. Voyager had not discovered a region of interest. It had been summoned as Voyager's bizarre findings spread. Researchers at the James Webb Space Telescope pointed its powerful instruments toward the location. What they discovered frightened the astronomy community. There was no visible object, no structure, no planet, but space itself was bent, curved by a force that couldn't be seen, like a lens made of gravity. Despite the absence of mass at its core, what James Webb detected inside this gravitational lens was even more disturbing. A pattern that looked like thermal radiation, except, for one thing, the only detectable signature was Voyager 1 itself. But the actual Voyager remained light years away. Was this a thought? A duplicate? A contradiction? The data suggested that time itself may be deformed in this area, possibly even looping. Could Voyager be approaching a place where the past and future blur? Where light and data echo forward and backward? A distinct space-time pocket unlike anything previously seen? As the confusion grew, a group of quantum physicists, fringe theorists, and AI researchers quietly released an explosive concept, using AI-enhanced simulations. They suggested that Voyager had entered a region of space governed by an alternative quantum regime. In this space, time, matter, and information didn't behave as expected. Their AI models showed a repeating structure embedded in the most recent signal-and algorithm not made by humans, but clearly planned. A quantum computer had been incorporated by something that could only be accessed by particular frequencies, like those emitted by Voyager. What if it wasn't Voyager randomly exploring the universe? What if its path had been guided by a cosmic intelligence? One that anticipated humanity's development, one that wanted to be discovered. But only when we were ready. What Voyager 1 has uncovered is not just a peculiarity in science. It is something deeper, a cosmic puzzle that challenges our comprehension of space, time, and reality itself. For close to 5 decades, the minuscule spacecraft has sailed silently across the empty void, carrying questions about humanity and our dreams. And now, as it reaches the limitless edge of our known universe, it may have discovered how far stranger the universe truly is. Are we close to responding to a question we didn't know we were asking? Have we received the first whisper from someone or something observing us from beyond the horizon? There is one certainty: the Voyager narrative does not end here. This is only the beginning of a new chapter, one that forces us to reconsider everything we believe to be true about our place in the cosmos. What then do you believe Voyager has found out there? A universe-wide flaw? A doorway? Something even more unimaginable? Post your theory in the comments section, and if your sense of reality was shaken, even for a brief moment like the video, subscribe for more mind-blowing revelations and hit the bell so you don't miss what comes next. Because if Voyager 1 has confirmed everything we feared, what else is waiting for us in the shadows?